My name is Noelle Hartman, and I'm 31. Competence in my world isn't glamour, it's choreography. The dishwasher waits for off-peak at 12:01 a.m. because I taught it patience. The last cell in my budget glows green like a steady heartbeat. My lease is in my name. The deed belongs to someone else far away, and the ground floor workshop smells like spruce and hide glue and a life I built on tiny, careful choices. Careful choices are impossible to Instagram. You only notice them when the boat lurches. Tonight it lurched. Tell me you're not serious, Ryan says, holding the paper like it's an insult. He's 29, ambitious in a way that exhausts a room, the kind of person who treats strangers like an audience he might monetize later. He looks down again at the email printout I left by the coffee maker. Offer rescinded with gratitude. Noelle. I'm serious, I say. 70-hour weeks, cross-country, 20% bump to light myself on fire. That math doesn't work for me. For you, he repeats, as if the syllables are a slur. You were offered director, Noelle. Director. People would kill for that. People kill for a lot of things, I say. I like my life. He laughs without smiling. You like being average. There it is. He's not creative. He's derivative. I know the line's not really his. It belongs to a man who speaks through him whenever Ryan is afraid. Edward Aldridge, his father, a constellation of car dealerships and country club board seats stitched inside one sharply tailored suit. The man who thinks he invented reality. My dad was right, Ryan says, and the heat comes up under my skin, but I keep my voice low. My workshop taught me how. Breathe, count the strokes, let patience do the work the blade can't. You'll always play it safe. No risk, no growth. Maybe, I say, or maybe I just don't need the title to know who I am. He flings the paper back on the counter. The corner clips a ceramic bowl, and the bowl wobbles but doesn't fall. He wanted it to fall. He wanted a sound big enough to film his righteousness over. You know what my dad says about people like you? He pushes. They park themselves at mediocre and call it balance. He's usually right. He is usually right. About numbers. About inventory turns, about interest rates and closing techniques, and how to make a mid-sized sedan feel like a coronation. Edward is frighteningly good at everything that fits inside a ledger. Outside of it, his talent thins. Maybe he is, I say, because I understand leverage. Agree with a bully and they have nothing left to grip. Maybe I am mediocre. Ryan blinks, thrown off by my compliance. His reflection in the microwave is small and angrier than the real thing. What's that supposed to mean? It means I heard you. You're going to regret this, he says. You think your little hobby makes you special? Lutes? VO? Whatever? That's Etsy stuff. He never remembers the names. He posts my instruments as if they're his, though. Handcrafted by we, he captions, next to a photo of himself in my apron. Okay, I say, and rinse my mug. The sink water runs quiet, steady. So what now? Now? He gives me that salesman smile, test-driving charisma. Now you call them back and say you made an emotional decision. You accept. You move with me. Or I move without you. The shape of the threat sits down between us, familiar and bored. I dry the mug. I set it in its place. My hands don't shake. I'm not calling them back. Then you and I are done. He taps his phone like a judge tapping a gavel. Don't take it personally. You just don't fit where I'm going. He wants me to plead, beg, offer my dignity as a down payment on proximity to his future. I give him a soft, polite smile, the kind you use on telemarketers. Okay, I say. The word lands. Clean. Ryan studies my face, trying to find the trick. When he doesn't, he shakes his head and stalks down the hall. The bedroom door slams hard enough to rattle a frame. A photo of us on the kitchen shelf tilts and stops at a sharp angle, like it's reconsidering its loyalties. I let the quiet expand. The apartment breathes. The boat has lurched. Now it will either right itself or show me how deep the water is. My phone waits on the counter where the sun makes a small warm square. I unlock it. The folder is called Aldridge. Ring. Because long before I learned to fix things, I learned to label them. I did not hack anything. After a break-in scare at Edward's house last year, he shared his ring access with family for safety. The family WhatsApp ran on obligation and gossip. Someone forgot to remove my number when the invite went wide. It was supposed to be temporary. I was supposed to delete the clips after the scare passed. I did not. The night stamp reads November 15th, 2:34 a.m. The camera's fisheye makes the driveway curve like a grin. A Mercedes S-Class drifts into frame, too fast and too loose. The passenger side kisses brick. The grille snarls the garage door. The car corrects late, like a drunk apologizing after the damage is done. The driver door opens. Ryan spills out, tucks untucked, tie flayed. He lurches toward the roses, bends, and loses whatever was left of the evening. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand and stares at the ruined car a long time, bargaining with physics. Then he looks directly into the camera and doesn't see it at all. Morning after, Edward called it a hit and run at the country club. Insurance took the report. Ryan said nothing, asked me to say nothing, promised it would complicate family stuff if I ever brought it up. I filed the clip the way you set a violin top to rest, somewhere safe, to be opened only if you intend to do the work. I intend to do the work. I compose the email. Subject line, November 15th. In case you still need the truth, attach the clip. In the body, I write exactly 12 words. Edward. Sharing the footage you asked family to retain for safety reasons. I add the timestamp, the file name, nothing else. I address it to Edward Aldridge Motor Group and copy no one. Before I press send, I think about his ex, Lydia Crest, the one who trained Ryan to stage manage his own life. Lydia taught him to treat privacy like a liability. If the public can't see it, it doesn't exist. He used to joke that Lydia broke up with him because he wore grief badly. I couldn't even get the breakup post right, he said. She told me I buried the lead. I press send. I set the phone down and make a sandwich. Lettuce loud against the knife, bread giving under the blade. I pour water, drink it, watch light crawl across the floorboards toward the workshop door. This is what control looks like, not the domination Ryan loves, but the discipline of ordinary things done on purpose. 18 minutes later, Ryan's phone vibrates down the hall. He curses, the particular hiss he does for his father. He steps into the kitchen with the screen to his ear, pale already. What video? He says. Dad, I have no idea what timestamp? He looks at me then, and I wonder if he sees that I've already returned to the sink, the plate faintly damp, the crumbs neatly cornered. He doesn't ask me anything. He nods to the music of his father's fury, says, I'll call you back, and lets the line die. What did you do? He asks me, but the way he asks means he already knows. I forwarded a family memory, I say. You sent him that. His face splits, panic ragged at the edges. You don't understand. He's going to freeze everything. Then it's a learning opportunity, I say, for both of you. You vindictive... He stops himself, rebrands the insult into a plea. Noel, please, call him. Say it's a misunderstanding. Say it's fake. There's a timestamp, I say. Also your face. Also the roses. You posted those roses the next day. Nothing heals like Sunday light. You're going to destroy my family, he says, and I almost feel sorry for the sentence. He thinks truth is a bulldozer, not a mirror. I'm not destroying anything, I say. I'm sending inventory back to its rightful owner. His phone rings again. The name on the screen is Lawrence Pike, the family lawyer. He declines it, then calls back instantly, like that reverses power. I'll fix this, he tells me and himself. I'll talk to him. He listens to me. I'm sure he does, I say. Ryan's eyes skate over the apartment like it's a set. The photo of us is still tilted. He doesn't touch it. I think he knows on some animal level that the room stopped believing him. 30 days, I say, and his head snaps. What? You're not on the lease. You don't pay rent. You said you were moving without me. Consider this my gift of alignment. 30 days to move out. You can't. I can. I keep my voice even, almost kind. And I am. He looks at me like I've invented a language and refuse to hand him the glossary. His phone rings again. He doesn't pick up. In the corner, my workshop door stands ajar, varnish scent slipping into the room like a promise. The glue joints hold when you let them cure. The structure fails when you rush it. He storms back down the hall. The door slams. The tilted photo finally gives up and falls, glass skittering across the shelf like applause. I sweep. I bag the shards. I label the bag Aldridge. 11:15 fallout, and set it beside the trash, because I know myself. In a month, some part of me will need proof that the sound I heard tonight was the sound of something breaking open, not just breaking. On the counter, my phone vibrates. A new email. Auto forward. November 15th. Edward has replied. Received. Lawrence looping in. Thank you, Noel. Not dear, not best, not performative kindness. Just a sentence with teeth. I wash my hands, turn off the kitchen light, and let the apartment go dark, one room at a time. Like a stage surrendering its set. In the quiet, the boat steadies. It doesn't stop moving. But I can feel which way the current runs now. Tomorrow, the calls begin. Tonight, I sleep. The choreography holds. By morning, the air has the thin taste of a storm that chose emails over thunder. At 7:12 a.m., Ryan's ringtone breaks the apartment's spine. He doesn't say hello. Dad, He paces so hard the hardwood complains. No, it wasn't. I'm telling you it must be edited. Lawrence can... Dad. He pulls the phone away, stares at it like it failed a loyalty test, then puts it back to his ear. I'm coming over. He isn't. He's standing in my kitchen wearing yesterday's certainty like a shirt that shrank overnight. I measure coffee. I don't look up. You can hold your ground by refusing to audition for their panic. He ends the call with a flat, fine. A beat later, his screen lights again. Lawrence Pike. Ryan inhales, finds his preppy courtroom voice. Lawrence, I need you to... He goes quiet. The lawyer is speaking a paragraph at him, and it's the kind of paragraph that uses words like exposure and misrepresentation and restitution. He can't just... Ryan's eyes flicker toward me. I understand, he says, which is the last truth he gets to say for a while. The third call arrives as I'm dividing the coffee grounds with the back of a spoon. Edward Aldridge. I don't usually answer calls with that much capital letter. Today I do. Noel? No greeting. Not even the performance of one. We'll be retrieving my son's belongings today. He has 30 days, I say. He'll need all of them. I won't have him humiliated. Then don't humiliate him, I offer, and let the pause sit there until it grows teeth. You blindsided me, he says, using my own camera. You shared access with family, I say. I assumed you wanted us to keep you safe. You cost my son his standing. No, I say. Your son cost himself that. I sent a mirror. He didn't like what it showed. For a second, I think I hear Edward step away from the phone. When he returns, his voice is colder, the way money talks when it knows you can't make it warmer. Lawrence will coordinate the consequences. There will be a revision to the will. The trust will be frozen pending review. Ryan will repay the deductible and the premium increases. The call ends without the courtesy of a clicked goodbye. Men like Edward don't hang up. They let gravity do it for them. Ryan has been standing still for the length of that conversation, his face a hectic map. You picked up my father's call, he says, small, like he's discovered a breach of etiquette, not felony-level truth. I did, I say. He sounded awake. You don't understand him. He leans on the counter like it owes him a favor. He negotiates. He bluffs big, and then... The phone in his hand buzzes. He flinches. A text banner blooms, and with it the rhythm of a family group chat detonating. Aldridge Circle. I see the preview because Ryan holds his screen too close to me in his panic. From Aunt Meredith. Edward shared footage. I'm sick. Then. From Cousin Theo. Caught in 4K. Doesn't even cover it. Then. From Uncle Rob. Edward, we filed an insurance claim. Pull it. Ryan's face drains to the edges. His thumbs fly. He chooses 3 lies and a prayer, then deletes them all before pressing send on this is being misinterpreted. Being. Don't, I say gently. You'll only give them more to screenshot. He turns his back to me, hunches into the cabinet like a hoodie. Another text pings through, private this time. Elaine Aldridge. He opens it. Come home now. There's a second bubble. We need to talk about conditions. Conditions, he repeats. He sounds like a student reading the word gravity for the first time after years of pretending he already knew it. You should call her, I say. Mothers speak before lawyers do. He doesn't. He calls Lydia. There's no answer. He calls again because he believes repetition is a moral force. On the 3rd attempt, she picks up and the voice that swilled him into brand deals and borrowed apartments oozes through. This is a bad day to be you. I need your help, he says. Post something. Say it's a deep fake. You have contacts. I have boundaries, Lydia says, bored. And a new boyfriend who doesn't crash luxury sedans. You told me you'd always... Ryan, she says. and the smile I can't see slices air. Learn to read the room. She hangs up. The room reads him like a book written in washable marker. I pour coffee, slide a mug toward him. He doesn't take it. He's holding out for cappuccino-level mercy, but all that's on offer now is black. I said 30 days, I remind him. I'll email it too, so you have it for your records. You're really doing this, he whispers, throwing me out to impress my father. I'm not trying to impress anyone, I say. I'm trying to sleep at night. He tries a new tactic, the one he saves for Instagram reels. Sincerity with a ring light. I said things I didn't mean, he murmurs. I was scared. About the promotion, the move, us. You blindsided me. I reacted. Can we reset? It wasn't a reaction, I say. It was an assessment. Your father's words in your mouth. And I won't be moving for a man who treats me like a furnishing. His eyes flare. You lived here for free. I let the silence do push-ups between us. Then I say, you've never paid rent, Ryan. He opens his mouth, no words report for duty. At 9:03, my email pings with a reply. All from Lawrence. The subject is already a memo. Aldridge family. Disclosure, remediation, next steps. I will not quote it, that's their work to do, but the bullet points march in a crisp line. Immediate freeze. Removal from will pending counseling and restitution. Repayment schedule proposed. There's a sentence in there that catches between my ribs. We have to stop protecting him from himself. It's signed, Elaine, not Lawrence. Of course it is. Mothers who have done the math out loud for years eventually start writing the checks too. My phone chimes. A new number, a voice dripping the moneyed civility of someone who believes he invented ethics. Ms. Hartman, Lawrence says, as counsel, I want to confirm you will not disseminate the clip further. Correct, I say. I sent it to the person who owns the doorbell it came from. Good, that was our understanding. A pause. For what it's worth, this is overdue. For what it's worth, I say, I know. When I end the call, Ryan is already crafting the next narrative, pacing, hands rehearsing sincerity. I'll pay him back, he says. I'll do AA for a month, whatever. But you need to help me get ahead of this. Post about forgiveness. Tell people I'm not a monster. The dog pile's insane already. I haven't posted anything, I say, and I won't. You could at least not look so smug, he snaps, breaking the pose. You love this. No, I say. I like precision. This is what precision feels like when it's not protecting you. The apartment buzzer stings the wall. Ryan flinches again. He's jumpy in his own body now. An athlete discovering the game has rules he never learned because money kept calling fouls on anyone who tried to teach him. Don't let him up, Ryan says. If it's my father. I press the intercom. Who is it? Delivery, a voice says. I press to unlock. A stack of flat-packed boxes arrives. I sign, stack them by the wall, and turn. I won't pack, he says, a prince refusing the peasant's calendar. You can't make me. You're right, I say. I can't make you. But the building can evict you for nuisance after what happened last week with the wine bottle, and the police can remove you for trespassing after day 30. I keep my voice gentle. Gentleness makes the truth go all the way in. He deflates. You told Larry. Larry told me, I say. Neighbors did. The phone in his hand lights again. Elaine. This time he answers. Mom. I turn away, rinse my mug, give him privacy he has not earned. Conditions, he repeats, quieter. Receptionist, 15, at the dealership. His laugh is a tiny broken instrument. Rent? At home? He turns a shade of red that should be medically evaluated. AA, I'm not. Mom, the call ends itself. When he looks at me, he's someone I've never met. Not because he's changed, but because the light finally hit him at the angle that shows the seams. He tries one last time. Please, he says soft. His hands are empty. I'm scared. I believe you, I say, and I think scared is good. It keeps you from driving fast. Tears fray the edge of his voice, and I wish, briefly, that compassion and boundaries could share a room without arguing about the thermostat. If I move home, he says, everyone will know. They already do, I say, and I make sure there's no triumph in it. At noon, my phone vibrates with a message from a number I don't recognize. Aldridge Circle, new member. Added, Noelle Hartman. Someone looped me into the family group. An accident or a deliberate act by a mother who is done doing all the labor in the dark. I do not type anything. I read the thread. An aunt prays in public. A cousin jokes badly and then deletes it. Edward posts a single sentence. We will handle this with accountability and discretion. He does not apologize. He does not say his son's name. The chat falls silent like a stage light going out. I remove myself from the group. At 1:06 p.m., I email Ryan a formal notice, copied to my building manager. Subject, 30-day notice to vacate, courtesy copy. I attach a list of shared items so there will be no debate later about what belonged to whom. I label boxes for him. Closet, suits, bathroom, toiletries, hall, shoes, because dignity is easier to choose when logistics are simple. He hovers in the doorway to the workshop while I work on a cracked viola rib. Why aren't you gloating? He asks finally, genuinely confused. I'm busy, I say, and I like who I am when I'm busy. He rubs his face. This isn't fair. Fairness isn't the same as comfort, I say, sighting along the rib to see if the line holds. This is fair. He doesn't argue. As he leaves the doorway, he clips the frame, as if the room refuses to give him clean exits anymore. By evening, the calls have slowed to a body's necessary functions. Lawyer, mother, father, the click of a family system reprogramming itself to include consequence. In the kitchen, the small, warm square of sun finds the floorboards again, then slides away. When I turn off the lights, the apartment obeys. Somewhere between the second and third switch, I realize the boat isn't lurching now. It's turning. Day 3. The rhythm of consequence is steady now. A low drum behind the walls. I sleep through the night for the first time in weeks. When I wake, the air smells like varnish and quiet. Then someone knocks. 3 someones. Ryan's voice comes first. Just be nice, okay? It's the tone of a man rehearsing damage control. I open the door and find a small army of entitlement on my welcome mat. 3 women in expensive discomfort. Brielle, his college friend turned branding consultant. Tatum, fitness influencer, 40% filter by weight. And Alessia, who calls herself a social media strategist, but mostly strategizes unpaid brunches. Brielle walks in without invitation. Perfume loud enough to qualify as dialogue. We're here to talk, she announces, like it's an intervention special. About what, I ask. About him. She gestures at Ryan, who lingers behind them like a defendant pretending to be a witness. You can't just ruin someone's life over a mistake. Driving drunk into his father's garage, I clarify. That mistake? Alessia sighs. Everyone makes mistakes. He's learning. You don't have to be vindictive. I fold my arms. You're right, I don't. That's why I only sent it to his father, not the internet. That earns a collective gasp, synchronized, like a choir trained in melodrama. Tatum takes out her phone, already recording. You're being abusive. This is emotional control. Record this too, I say. You're trespassing. You have 2 minutes to leave. Ryan looks at me, jaw tightening. You can't talk to them like that. They're in my home, I say calmly. I can talk to them in whatever tense I want. Brielle snorts. You think you're so composed. It's fake. You're just bitter you're not a power couple anymore. I glance at Ryan. Were we? He doesn't answer. Okay, I say. Minute 1. Tatum waves her phone closer. I'm sending this to Expose Central if you touch us. Please do, I say, pulling out my own phone. Also, smile. They blink at the flash. What are you doing? Alessia asks. Documenting evidence, I say. So when this hits the internet, your employers will see you harassing someone in her home during business hours. I like efficiency. Their composure fractures. Brielle turns to Ryan. She's crazy. Ryan mutters, let's just go. But they don't. Not yet. They need an ending that feels like power. Fine, Tatum says. We'll leave. But people will know who you really are. I smile. I'm counting on it. They leave in a gust of expensive perfume and cheap outrage. The hallway echoes with their heels. Ryan slams the door. Why do you have to be like this? Like what? So cold. Because I'm done burning for people who hand me matches. He opens his mouth, but the intercom buzzes before he can weaponize the silence. I press it. Yes? A voice I don't expect answers. Ms. Hartman, it's building security. You have several unauthorized visitors trying to re-enter. Should we remove them? Yes, I say. Please do. Ryan spins on me. You called security? I answered security, I correct. There's a difference. He paces, clutching his phone like a lifeline. You're making this worse. They'll post. They'll twist it. They don't need to twist anything, I say. You did that part already. That evening, my phone starts vibrating nonstop. Unknown numbers, private accounts, comments, DMs, Venom disguised as activism. Brielle posted a cropped video of our encounter. Caption: Abusive ex ruins boyfriend's career, admits revenge. My name, my photo, my city. The comments read like a fever dream of self-righteousness. Queen of manipulation. This woman's a danger to men. Someone should dox her address. Someone did. My notifications blur into white noise. Ryan says nothing. He's curled on the couch, scrolling through his own pity parade. They're defending me, he says, awe softening his voice. People actually see how cruel you were. He sounds grateful. Not for me, for validation. Good, I say. Maybe it'll keep you busy while I file a police report. His head jerks up. What? I hold up my phone, the open email to the precinct's cybercrimes division. Harassment, defamation, stalking threats. I have screenshots of timestamps, IP traces, and Brielle's LinkedIn profile where she posted during work hours. You're not serious. I'm precise, I say. There's a difference. 2 hours later, I receive an email from an HR address. We take online harassment very seriously and are investigating this matter. It's Brielle's company. 30 minutes after that, I get a text from a familiar number. Ryan's phone, but not Ryan. Brielle. You got me suspended? Me. No. You got yourself suspended by organizing harassment using your work account. Brielle. How do you even know that? Me. Metadata. Be smarter next time. No reply. Ryan is pacing again. You could have just talked to me instead of going nuclear. Ryan, I say, I did talk to you for 4 years. At 10:30 p.m., the intercom buzzes again. Not a friend this time. Who is it? It's Edward Aldridge. Ryan's face goes bloodless. Don't let him up. I press the button. You can come in, Mr. Aldridge. Ryan glares. You're enjoying this. No, I say. I'm witnessing it. Edward looks smaller in person. Or maybe it's the exhaustion. His suit is immaculate, but his eyes have the dull glaze of someone who spent a lifetime mistaking money for foresight. You've destroyed my family, he begins. I stand by the counter, mug in hand. Your son did that when he drove drunk and lied about it. He takes a step closer. He made a mistake. And then let you commit insurance fraud, I remind him. That's not a mistake. That's a cover-up. He exhales heavy. What do you want, money? I laugh, quietly. From the man who calls everyone beneath him? No, thank you. Then why? Because he said you were right about me, I say. So I wanted you to be right about him too. His face flickers. Rage, disbelief, something almost like shame. You're vindictive. I'm consistent. He takes another step, close enough that I can smell expensive scotch under his cologne. I could ruin you, he says softly. One phone call. Go ahead, I say. Call whoever you want, but start with your insurance provider. He freezes. The bluff doesn't hold when the truth is in the room. This isn't over, he mutters. You're right, I say. You still have to teach your son what accountability means. He leaves, slamming the door so hard the picture frames tilt again, smaller echoes of Ryan's first storm. When the silence returns, it's clean. Ryan sits on the couch, staring at nothing. Happy? He asks. Now he hates me. You won. I didn't want to win, I say. I wanted honesty. He scoffs. You always think you're the hero. No, I say, turning off the lamp. Just the adult. The night closes around us. Somewhere outside, the storm finally starts. Real thunder this time, as if the weather waited for permission to break. Tomorrow, the countdown continues, and the story everyone thinks they're writing about me will start turning back on them. Day 10. Silence has settled like dust, harmless until you touch it. Ryan spends his mornings pacing, his afternoons on calls that end with, "You don't understand," and his nights scrolling himself into martyrdom. Every few hours, he mutters that he's working on it, as if redemption were a spreadsheet. I've stopped answering questions that aren't about logistics. The notice to vacate sits magneted to the fridge, printed twice, once for clarity, once for emphasis. He doesn't pack. He performs. When I come home Thursday, music bleeds through the door. Laughter, bass that doesn't belong in a one-bedroom apartment. I unlock and step into a crowd. My dining table is buried under beer bottles and takeout. Someone's wearing my cardigan. A man I don't know is drinking from my wine glass. Ryan stands on the couch, arms out, conducting the chaos. "This is a farewell celebration," he yells, spotting me. "Everyone deserves closure." I stare. "In my apartment?" "Technically," he slurs. "It's our apartment." The strangers laugh, too loudly, too long. I start filming. What are you doing? He snaps, dropping the grin. Documenting damages, I say, so you'll have receipts for small claims court. One of the guests, a tall woman in glitter and cheap empathy, says, God, chill, we're vibing. You're trespassing, I reply. You have 5 minutes to unvibe before I call the police. The room sobers by degrees. Party instinct versus survival instinct. Survival wins. Within 3 minutes, the hallway is full of perfume and muttering. Ryan is left staring at me over the wreckage. Chips ground into the carpet, wine on the couch, a toppled plant bleeding soil across the floor. This is pathetic, he says. You love having control. No, I say, I love clean floors. I document everything. Photographs, timestamps, text sent to the building manager. The discipline feels like oxygen. The next morning, I get an email from a friend of the family named Dominic Ward, Edward's business partner. Subject: Opportunity to resolve privately. The language is corporate incense. Calm, plausible, stinking of liability management. By noon, there's a knock. 2 of them this time, Edward and Dominic, pressed into civility. Edward doesn't wait for invitation. Ms. Hartman, he says, you've made your point. I wasn't aware this was a competition, I answer. Dominic steps forward, voice soft, palms open like a peace treaty. We just want to put this unpleasantness behind us. Ryan made a mistake. You've exposed it. Fine, let's all move on. Moving on sounds great, I say. He moves out in 19 days. Dominic exchanges a glance with Edward. We're prepared to offer you compensation, he says. For what? For the distress this situation caused. $50,000, and you delete the footage permanently. I laugh, low and genuine. You're offering me a bribe in front of your lawyer's favorite security camera. Edward stiffens. That's not what this is. It's exactly what this is, I say, tapping the lens embedded near the ceiling. Attempted obstruction of evidence, recorded in 4K. Do you want a copy for your archives? Dominic pales. Edward's jaw tightens. He turns to his partner with the slow horror of a man, realizing the floor plan includes a trapdoor, and he's standing on it. Leave, I say softly, before this becomes another file name. They go. Not even the courtesy of a slammed door this time, just the sound of retreat, the sound of men realizing leverage doesn't work on someone who has nothing left to want from them. That afternoon, a letter slides under my door. The stationery screams legalese in 12-point serif. It's from a friend of Brielle's, some law student trying to cosplay as counsel, claiming Ryan has tenant rights. I forward it to Elaine's brother, the property lawyer she recommended. His reply arrives an hour later, 3 pages long, surgical in tone. Ryan Hartman was a guest, not a tenant. No rent payments were made or agreed upon. 30 days' notice exceeds any legal requirement. The attached letter borders on harassment. He signs it, Regards, Stephen Aldridge, and CC's Edward and Elaine for good measure. I read it twice, savoring the elegance of precision-turned-weapon. When I show it to Ryan, he laughs. You think you're so smart. I don't think it, I say. I confirm it. He storms out. The door slams. A minute later, my phone buzzes. Notification from @expose. Toxic. Men. East Coast. A Facebook group where Brielle and her friends congregate. A new post. A photo of me. Blurry and cropped. With the caption, Manipulative woman ruins boyfriend's career and family for clout. I close the app. I've already filed a report. I've already called the detective assigned to the cyberstalking case. I don't need to watch the comments metastasize. That evening, the police knock. 2 officers, polite but firm. You're Ms. Hartman? One asks. We received your documentation. We're following up on online threats. They take statements, photos, screenshots. One of them glances at the chaos of boxes by the wall. Moving? He asks. Eventually, I say, just not me. He smiles faintly, the kind of professional sympathy reserved for people doing the hard part quietly. Day 14. Ryan stops pretending to work. He spends hours replaying the old clip as if the pixels will confess to forgery. Sometimes I hear him whispering, it's not fair, like a rosary. He tries charm again. Breakfast in bed, flowers bought on my own credit card, a note that says, we can fix this. I take a photo of the receipt, proof he used my account, and throw the flowers away. When he sees the trash, his expression fractures. You're evil, he whispers. No, I say, I'm allergic. Day 17. The building manager, Larry, knocks mid-afternoon. Quick update, he says. We've had more noise complaints. If he throws another party, I'll have to escalate. He's leaving, I promise. Good, Larry says. We like you here. He's a headline waiting to happen. As if on cue, a loud thud shakes the wall. Larry's eyebrow lifts. Sooner rather than later. He's right. Day 20. The calm breaks again. Ryan bursts into my workspace, breathless. He's coming, he says. Who? My father and Dominic. Again? He nods. He says he wants closure. Closure arrives 10 minutes later, wearing imported leather. Edward doesn't sit this time. He just stands, surveying me, the way a buyer inspects a car he can't quite afford. You've done enough damage, he says. Dominic lingers by the door, pretending neutrality. Then stop coming here, I say. Damage heals faster without visitors. Edward exhales through his teeth. You think this is funny. You think you've won. There's nothing to win, I say. There's just what's true. He takes a step closer. Delete the footage. Why? It's defamatory. It's literal. His nostrils flare. Do you know what happens if I decide to make this public? You'll be labeled vindictive, bitter, the crazy ex who ruined a family. I almost laugh. You think I care what the internet calls me? You've already taught me what that costs. Dominic clears his throat, trying diplomacy. Look, Ms. Hartman, what will it take to end this quietly? Honesty, I say. Accountability. Maybe an apology. Edward's lips flatten. You'll get neither. Then you'll get cameras, I say, nodding toward the blinking red light above the bookshelf. And maybe an FBI file. Attempted bribery of a government employee is a serious charge. Their faces blanch like synchronized ghosts. Dominic looks at Edward, then at the camera, then at me. Let's go, he says. They leave, again. Ryan, from the corner, whispers, You recorded that? Of course, I say. I like insurance. That night, I light one candle, just one. The apartment glows in quiet amber. Outside, the city hums, oblivious. Inside, the air feels new, like something has finally exhaled after holding its breath too long. Tomorrow, the countdown hits single digits. 10 days left. And for the first time since the boat lurched, I can feel the current steady beneath me. Day 21. When I wake, Ryan's side of the bed is empty. That shouldn't mean anything. We stopped sharing it days ago, but the silence feels rehearsed. I find him in the kitchen, folding shirts into boxes that aren't his. Why is my sweater in there? I ask. He doesn't look up. It's basically mine. You said I could wear it. Wearing it isn't owning it. He keeps folding. You're being petty. I'm being factual, I say, taking the sweater back and adding it to the correct pile. You have 9 days left. Start with your own things. He exhales through his nose, the sound of a man who still thinks dignity is volume. You love this, don't you? Watching me fall apart. I don't love it, I say. I just stopped cushioning the landing. By afternoon, he's pacing again. He's been calling his mother, hoping for softer terms. When the call finally connects, I hear him on speaker. Mom, please, tell Dad I'll fix it. I'll pay him back. Elaine's voice is steady, practical. You will. That's not negotiable. But until you do, you're coming home. Home? His laugh is jagged. You want me to move back there? You'll work at the dealership, she continues. Reception. $15 an hour. You'll pay rent, $500 a month, and attend AA twice a week. I'm not an alcoholic, he snaps. You drove drunk, she says. You're lucky it's not prison. He stares at the phone, silent. Then he ends the call mid-sentence, like control could be reclaimed by pressing red. For the next 2 days, he alternates between rage and desperation. He leaves notes on the counter. Let's talk. You don't have to hate me. We can fix this. I don't answer. The notes pile beside the fruit bowl until they look like receipts for poor decisions. On day 25, I come home to the smell of garlic and overconfidence. The dining table is set for 2. A candle flickers beside a plate of scorched pasta. Dinner, he says, smiling the way people do when they're selling something broken. Just like old times. I'm not hungry, I say. You never are when it's me. I was, I say, when you were someone else. He flinches. You can't stay mad forever. I'm not mad, I say. I'm done. He looks down, the smile finally giving up. You'll regret this. I already did, I say. That's why I stopped. That night, I hear him in the living room, on the phone with Dominic. I just need her to delete the video, he whispers. Please, offer her something. Anything. The next day, a courier delivers an envelope with no sender listed. Inside, a cashier's check for $50,000 and a typed note. In exchange for deletion of the footage, both parties agree to confidentiality. I walk the check straight to the police precinct and hand it to the officer managing my harassment file. She reads the note, whistles low. That's obstruction, she says. You sure you want to log this? Yes, I say. Paperwork keeps people honest. She grins. Most people would cash it. I'm not most people. Day 27. Larry, the building manager, stops me in the hall. Just confirming, he's out by Friday? Yes, I say, 5 p.m. Good, he says. Security's briefed. He's loud. He hesitates. And about the bottle thing? I blink. Bottle thing? Larry sighs. Someone threw a wine bottle off the balcony last week. Nearly hit a delivery guy. I turn to Ryan, who's hovering near the elevator. You did that? I was upset, he says. It's not a big deal. You could have killed someone. Stop being dramatic. Larry looks between us. After Friday, he's banned from the building. Understood, I say. Ryan says nothing. His face is the color of entitlement running out of ink. Day 29. He finally starts packing for real, but half the boxes are wrong. My PlayStation. My grandmother's throw pillows. My coffee maker. Why are these in your pile? I ask. He shrugs. We use them together. They're sentimental. They're mine. He folds his arms. You can't take everything. Ryan, I say, voice low, you came here with 2 suitcases and a networking dream. Everything you've touched in this place was borrowed. He opens his mouth, closes it. For once, there's nothing left to sell. Day 30. He's supposed to be gone by 5. At 9 in the morning, his phone rings. Edward. He puts it on speaker, maybe out of habit. Ryan, Edward says, voice clipped. Your mother and I discussed it. You can come home, but there are conditions. I know, Ryan says quickly. I'll take them. Anything. You'll work reception. You'll pay rent. You'll attend meetings. And you'll pay back the insurance deductible and premium increase, $5,000, from your wages. Yes, sir, Ryan says, eyes glassy. There's a pause. Then Edward says, You've embarrassed this family, son, but I'd rather see you humbled than homeless. The line clicks dead. He stares at the phone for a long time. He called me son again, he whispers, like it's grace. Good, I say. Maybe now you'll learn what that costs. He looks at me, something raw behind the bitterness. I really did love you. No, I say quietly. You loved what I could forgive. He nods, a small, defeated movement. Then he drags his boxes to the door. Larry knocks precisely at 5. Ready? Ryan nods. Yeah. Edward waits downstairs with a moving truck, exhaustion hanging off him like another tailored suit. Let's go, he says. Ryan hesitates, glancing back at me. I'm sorry, he says. You're not mediocre. You're stable. I needed that. No, I reply. You needed consequences. Edward steps forward. He'll pay the deductible and the premium. $5,000. Consider it closed. Keep it, I say. I don't want money. Edward studies me for a long time. You're not what I expected. I know, I say. That's why it worked. He nods once, almost respectful, and walks his son out. The door closes behind them with the soft finality of a cello note. Low, complete. I exhale. For the first time, it doesn't feel like defense. It feels like peace arriving on schedule. 9 months of pretending stability was a team sport, and now it's just mine again. The couch, the coffee maker, the quiet. Sometimes endings don't explode. They just stop shaking. Tomorrow, I'll deep clean the apartment, change the locks, and learn what silence sounds like when it belongs only to me. It's been a week since the door closed behind him. I keep expecting echoes, the late-night pacing, the phone calls, the smell of cologne masking guilt, but the apartment has gone still. The quiet is so pure I can hear the refrigerator hum, the soft click of the clock hand every second. I think of it as detox, the noise leaving my bloodstream. The morning after he left, I stripped the bed, boxed what he forgot, and changed the locks. I scrubbed the counters until the marble looked new again, until the space smelled like lemon and agency. By noon, I sat on the couch with my coffee maker purring beside me, scrolling through nothing. No notifications, no messages, just clean digital air. It felt like freedom wearing work clothes. On day 3, an envelope appeared in my mailbox. Creamstock, expensive penmanship, Edward Aldridge. Inside was a short note and a check for $5,000. The deductible and premium increase, just as he'd promised. The note read, Consider this repayment complete. Thank you for forcing the lesson neither of us had the courage to teach him sooner. E.A. I folded the check back inside and slid it into my filing cabinet under uncashed. I didn't want his money. I wanted peace. And that part was already paid in full. 2 days later, I got a text from Elaine. He lasted 3 days at the dealership. Walked out after the first customer yelled at him. He's couch surfing with one of those girls who called you abusive. I could almost hear the exhaustion behind her words. Thank you, she added. We should have done this years ago.
I typed back, you still can, just don't take him off the hook.
No reply came, but the three dots flickered for a while, a mother thinking. Then came the predictable irony. Scrolling through Instagram that weekend, I found his new account. Ryan Rebuilds. Profile bio. Life coach. Helping others overcome toxic relationships and reclaim resilience. His first post was a close-up of his face in soft light, captioned, "Even betrayal can be a teacher." The comments were full of the same women who once called me manipulative, all typing praise emojis like prayer beads. I didn't comment. I didn't even laugh. I just watched the view count climb, proof that consequences can trend for only so long before the world starts craving redemption. Let him have it. Let him film it. Let him monetize the lesson he never learned. Some people can only heal in public. Others just stop needing an audience. By Sunday, I was ready to start living in my own quiet. I opened the windows. The city breeze moved through like forgiveness. I rearranged the furniture, couch by the window, plants in the light, framed photos that only included me. When I was done, I stood in the center of the room and listened. It didn't sound empty, it sounded earned. That night, my phone buzzed once. A message from an unknown number. "Noelle, I know you probably hate me, but I just wanted to say thank you. You were right. I didn't know what accountability meant until now. I'm sorry for everything." I stared at it for a while, then typed back one word. Good. Then I deleted the thread. Some apologies aren't meant to be kept. The next morning, I walked into my workshop. The light caught on a half-restored violin, the one I'd ignored during the chaos. Its top was cracked, ribs separating from the back. Delicate damage, the kind you can only fix by taking it apart completely and letting the wood breathe before gluing it back together. It felt poetic, maybe even too on the nose, but I smiled anyway. I cleaned the seam, brushed on fresh hide glue, and pressed the clamps gently until the pieces met again. The scent of spruce rose sharp and clean, not nostalgia, but renewal. While I waited for it to set, I made a list. Groceries, bills, a new lamp. And at the bottom, nothing urgent. That was new. That was everything. Sometimes revenge is loud. Courtroom loud. Gossip loud. Internet loud. But sometimes it's this. A clean apartment. A steady heartbeat. A workshop filled with instruments that only sing after they've been broken and mended with care. I still didn't take that promotion. Still coach youth orchestra on weekends. Still have poker nights with friends who ask about my peace instead of my productivity. And yes, I'm still mediocre by Edward Aldridge's standards. But my rent is mine, my coffee maker is mine, my grandmother's pillows are mine, and so is the silence. The kind that doesn't need defending. The kind you can finally hear yourself thinking.